Welcome back to my channel, Custom Scrapbook Design by Christy Stubbs, and welcome to another installment of my Scrappin Saturday Series and to Saturday Morning Makes. So you can follow all of the other designers and contributors to the Saturday Morning Makes by using the hashtag satmornmakes, and that will pull up all of the other contributors, designers who are taking part in the open collaboration hosted by the fabulous Miss Jillian Norwood. And today I am using the Simple Stories collection, The Little Things. And then I did pull a couple sheets of the Simple Vintage Berry Fields out of my inventory as well. Both collections can be found on my website. And for today's layout, I am going to be doing another 2-page spread. And I am going to mimic what I did last week. So I'm going to kind of go through this fairly quickly. But I made a frame out of the base page. I am going to do that again this week because I kind of want that same effect. And last week I really spent a lot of time and I measured, and this week I'm going to kind of hustle through it and kind of guess. If you want to watch maybe a little more detailed version, go back and watch last week's. This time I'm getting a little braver and going to just kind of guesstimate where I want my lines to be. What I really essentially need is a 1/2 inch outer edge all the way around, so a 1/2 inch frame all the way around. So I am, of course, going slightly bigger than that so that I do have something to attach the top piece to, and this will all make a little bit better sense to you here shortly, but I am not marking it and measuring, and that one was slightly crooked because I had my piece of paper on there crooked, but that's all right. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and finish those cuts that didn't quite make it to the corner. And then we're going to get that middle piece to be able to make some photo mats. So it serves two purposes to do it this way. You conserve paper because you're basically just putting another piece right on top of this and only seeing that outer 1/2 inch all the way around. And then the other purpose is to pull this same color into your layout and mat your photos. So I got the first frame done. Now we're going to just quickly do the second one. And I'm just going to do that the same way. I'm just kind of guessing roughly a little over 1 inch and bringing my ruler in there. And then the key is when you turn your paper and line it up, you want to just make sure it's straight on that mat, because that mat is what you're lining up your ruler to, because it's got that edge on it. And as long as that's straight, you should be successful. All right, we're on the last one. One more quick cut, and then we'll do the same thing and just meet those cuts up. Did a fairly good job on that one. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. And then I already pulled 2 pieces from my stash of the white, and I've already cut them down to be 11 by 11, and see how you can see that nice 1/2 inch frame all the way around. So we're going to go with that, but I am going to ink the edges of this white, but we'll wait until we have a few more of our pieces lined out and ready to ink so we can do a bunch of it at once. So I'm going to set those to the side. And now I've seen this idea done in several groups that I'm in, several layout groups that I'm in, and I've seen it also on Pinterest. So I can't really give any one designer any credit, but this is an idea I have seen quite a bit. I am not responsible for this idea. I just kind of scrap lifted this. So, but I am going to have to figure out how they did it, and I'm kind of going off of memory. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take my ruler, and I'm going to use this yellow side, so I'm going to mark on the other side, and we're going to go at 7.5 inches. It's a pretty small. Okay, 7.5, and we're going to go 7.5. So we're going to make a cut, and we're going to cut it at the diagonal. I got to just double check and make sure I see where my mark is. That is it. And we're going to cut that at the diagonal. But before I do that, I've got the 7.5 here. I'm going to do that here as well, because I want 2 of them. 2 triangles that measure the same. All right, so let's see if I'm going to get that to line up in this cutter. I am not. Okay, so we'll bring our mat back in. And we'll line this up at the 7.5. I'm going to pull this onto the mat a little bit more so that I can run my blade all the way off the edge. So I want to line those 7.5s up. I'm struggling to see that one. Okay. And if my triangles aren't exactly the same, it's not going to be the end of the world, because I'll show you what we're doing with that. So there's the first one. And then let's go ahead and repeat that same process and cut our second one. Okay, so we've got 2 of them that measure the same. And now we've got these 2 corners here. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to pull in my trimmer, and I'm going to put the very edge point on there and cut that triangle off. Okay, so we cut that one, and then we'll cut this one, and in theory they should be the same. Again, like I said, if they're not exactly the same, it's not going to be a big deal, but it appears they are. Okay, so I'm going to want to ink these before we lay anything out as well. And then I'm also going to cut the photo mats, and then we'll start inking. And I'm going to cut the photo mats out of the inside of those pieces that we used to make the frame. And I'm going to line this up in my cutter to make a straight edge because I did cut that a little crooked. All right, now that we've got all of that inked, we can go ahead and hook down our white onto our frame. And for that, again, I am going to use the tape because I want a nice, good adhesion on that frame so that that base doesn't lift up anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this 1/4 inch tape all the way around the inside of that frame to hook down the white. Now this base paper does have some words and stuff on it, so that's something that whatever you use for your background piece, you might want to be real careful to be sure that you make sure your lettering is going the proper direction. So once you get that tape down, you want to burnish that down really good so that it sticks. And then we're going to just lift that backing off. And then we'll center our white piece on top of that. Whoops, grabbed a hold of the paper. But that will be covered. I'm kind of liking this little framed look. I did it last week and decided to go ahead and do it again this week. And so I'm just trying. Again, when you use the tape, you really kind of need to make sure you have your paper where you want it, because once you put it down, you're kind of stuck with that. Now I'm going to turn that because this has got some writing on it and I want to make sure I've got it going the proper direction. But I am going to set that aside and go ahead and get this other one done. And I cut it rather crooked now, I'm seeing. But that should all be well hidden once we get the white piece on. I apparently did not have that totally straight on my mat when I cut it. So you might want to just take a little more time than I did to get that on there. Although in the whole scheme of things, it's not going to make a big difference. So we're going to burnish those down again, make sure they're down good and tight. Lift those backing pieces off. And then we'll center that white on there. All right. And I am just eyeballing. You could take a ruler and measure it if you wanted to. I'm good with if it's not perfect. All right, so we've got our two pieces. I'm gonna get some of this extra mess out of our way. And now let's see what we're going to do with our triangles. Ooh, that's almost a little bit bigger than I wanted, but it'll work. So we're just going to run our triangles. The big ones on the outside and then the smaller ones on the inside. And I'm just going to go ahead and hook those down. And for those, I think I'll use the tape again and just get a good piece on that outside edge and maybe a couple little smaller pieces on that smaller inside corner. Let's go ahead and just get the tape on all of these first. That'll speed that along. I feel like lately I've always been in a hurry on these Saturday mornings to try and get these layouts done. One of these times we'll have to do a more intricate and more detailed layout when I've got some extra time to play. I have some family things going on tomorrow that I need to kind of keep this short, and lots of extra people in town this weekend down at the restaurant, so that keeps me a little extra busy as well. So have to kind of come up with an easy one, and like I said, I have seen this done a number of times by lots of other people, so I have not tried this layout myself, so I thought it might be a fun one to, and somewhat simple one to put together. So I am not really measuring or doing anything like that. I am just putting these triangles down, and I don't really want it exactly at the corner. And again, you really want to make sure you're ready to put that down with this tape, because it's not like my other tape that I usually tend to use and reposition quite often. If you want to be able to do that, I don't recommend using this tape because it does pretty well stick pretty permanently. So I'm going to try and go roughly the same distance from the top as I did the other one from the bottom. And I don't quite have that lined up. Let's see. There we go. Something like that. And then we've got these bigger triangles that are going to go on the outside. I didn't really realize that I almost went the length of the white paper with this size. So if you wanted to, you could go slightly smaller. And I could have trimmed this down, but I'm good with this size. I mean, it literally is only just a little over 1/4 of an inch smaller than the 11-inch white base. But I do like the looks of that. And then we'll get this other one on. And then we're going to get into the fun with adding all of the extra ephemera and decorations. All right, and then you do want to be careful too if you're going to use black ink like I did. You have to really be careful not to like smudge black ink everywhere. Can sometimes be a challenge. All right. Shoot. Looks like I may have gotten just ever so slightly off on that one. But we're not going to worry about that. And I lucked out, and my background paper, which is directional, ended up being the right direction because I did forget to pay attention to that before I put all that down. And then I do have some photo mats, and they are, I've got a couple 4x6, and then I do have some 3x4s, and this is directional as well. However, if you wanted to turn them the other direction, it would not, I mean, it's going to look funny on my layout because it doesn't have any pictures on it, but once you put the pictures on it, you'll never notice that it's not, that they're not going the right direction. Okay, so I think actually I am kind of liking them, or these photo mats, the way I've got them laid out. And now all we need to do is add some of our embellishments. We've got, again, the foam stickers here. So we could put a title on this utilizing the foam stickers. We've got Lovely Day, Little Moments, Let Love Bloom. But as I was looking through things, I did see some stickers in the sticker book too, that maybe we want to take a look at some of those. We've got some labels, some borders, and I think we'll do something with a few of those borders here actually. I think we're going to use some of those like we would maybe some washi tape. So let's see. I'm going to take this pink gingham and we're going to run a little bit of it, but I do want to cut it in half. And it's not going to matter if it's perfectly in half. Be close enough. And I'm just going to run a little strip of that in the bottom corner there. And then I'm going to duplicate that roughly in the same spot up here. All right. And then let's see what other, I'm going to take this black floral piece too and add some more bursts of color in here. And for this one, I'm not going to go directly in half. I'm going to go maybe 2/3. And we're just going to run a stripe of it up there. And then a smaller length of it down here. And then, let's see. I've got the lemons, but I think we'll do this black and white rickrack first. I think we'll use that. And we're going to use just another short piece here, I think. And then another longer piece up here. And then, okay, let's check this out, kind of where we've got stuff laid out and see where that's gonna show up. rearrange this just a little bit too. I'm not really sure yet. But I do want to take these strawberries here. And we're just going to run that right on the edge up there. And then we'll run the other piece on the bottom. All right, and then I think I want to use the lemons too. And pull in some more of that yellow. All right, and I cut that just a little crooked. And straighten this one out. Okay. Maybe just hide that by lifting that one up. Now, of course, once again, I am rearranging the photo mats because I tend to do that. All right. Okay, so just need to get the photo mats in place how I want them, and I'm not really set on anything just yet. So I need to work on that. And maybe there, maybe something along that line. All right, we're going to go ahead and hook those down before I mess with them again and don't have them set in place. So let's go ahead and get those down. And I like that this pulls that blue back in. And my photo mats measure 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So you can put a 4 by 6 photo on there without trimming it. And have a nice little border on your photos. And that will be nice to pull that same blue back in there by just having these framed exactly like the base page is framed. I think that's going to make for a really nice look once we get some photos on this. So these pages that I do that don't have photos on them are available on my website for purchase, so you can sure check those out. or all of the materials used I have available for sale as well. So you can check out my website. I will link it below. All right, I am liking the way we've got that laid out. All right, let's take a look at what else we have here. We've got really pretty florals in here, and I'm liking some of those as well. Some great sayings, but I think we're going to use the foam stickers for some of those. Just because Live Life in Full Bloom is available here. I do like these little ones, but I think we'll use some of the foam. And then I think we'll add some of those florals in as well, because we've got lots of beautiful florals here. And then the last thing I wanted to look at before we get any too far on there is maybe some of the tags. So we've got some really fun tags in this collection. Let's set that to the side. And I think we might stick with just adding some ephemera. I like that bicycle. We've got the same color with the typewriter here. Live Life in Full Bloom, some of those same. These are on the foam stickers, so I think we'll use the foam just to get some dimension added to the layout as well. And then we've got this pretty blue butterfly, which matches the blues already on here. All right, so let's go back to the foam stickers and see what we would like to title this. And I think we're going to go with Little Moments. Now, I did this one last week as well. I went along and backed the sticker. Well, that one might be a little bit too big. I'm going to back that train up. And let's maybe use something else. We're going to use this Love You. And I always like to add just a little bit of glue to my stickers, just to ensure that they're going to stay. And we're just going to add this Love You right here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and ink these few die cuts that I've got, and then we'll get those put in place. Okay, we're done inking. I'm just going to bend the butterfly wings up, kind of flatten that center, bend them out, and then bring the wings, the edges up, Just gives them a little bit more dimension, and then put it on some foam tape as well, and it just adds another layer of dimension to your layout. So we'll go ahead and lift that butterfly up on some foam. And being as I buy foam from several different places, I do always add some glue to it as well. I want to make sure it's going to stick. And I miscalculated a little long. And then just kind of work that butterfly again a little bit more. And I like that on the yellow there. It really kind of pops. And I think this bicycle is so fun. We're going to go ahead and add that to this corner here. We're just going to use some tape because you never know, I may change my mind and pull that off of there. And then we're going to put this little vase, we're going to tuck that down behind that mat, and then we've got the fun typewriter here that we're going to add as well. Okay, and now we're just going to pull some stickers, and I think we're just going to pull several flowers. So I definitely want to pull a little more of this kind of pinky peach color in, and we're going to just add that. Right there. Got this blue that matches our mats really nicely. So we're going to try and find a spot to pull that blue. I'm going to add that right up there. Pull a little pop of that peach, pinky peach over here. Checking to see what else we've got. A few more smaller florals, that's what I'm looking for. Got another smaller peachy pink color. Add up in the corner there. I'm going to add another butterfly, only this one's going to be a sticker, so it's going to lay flat. But we're going to add a little butterfly sticker right there. And let's see if there's anything else. Got this cute little pot of basil that we're going to add right next to the vase of flowers there. And there's a bunch of these really small flowers here too. I kind of like those. So we're going to add a few of those, just kind of scattered throughout. And we want to be sure to leave a little bit of room for journaling as well. So I think we've done a good job at that. Got a cute little bee. And it looks like we're just about getting to the end here. And I really think we are about done. Love you. Let's look at these black and white real quick. See if there's anything here we want to add. And I think we will. We're going to add So Happy Together. Oh, I thought those were separate. And it's okay that they're not because we're going to make them separate. And we're just going to line those up. Over on this page here. I'm just trying to space them roughly the same distance apart. And here we go. I haven't done this for a while for you guys. We're going to lift this up and move it just ever so slightly to the right so that that sticker has room. There, that fit a little bit better. And then we're also going to grab this heart from there. And add that. And one last little bit. I want another flower. So I'm going to grab one of, actually, I think I'll do this little bit bigger one. And I want to add another flower right in that spot right there. Okay. So now I believe this layout is complete. So we've got a layout that holds 2 4x6 and 4 3x4 photos. Nice bright collection. Again, I used the Simple Stories, the Little Things collection. And then I also pulled a couple pieces from Simple Vintage Berry Fields collection for the background and for the photo mats. I'll link all of that below for you. Be sure to check out the other designers who are participating in hashtag satmornmakes, as well as if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would love it if you would. I do post a new layout every Saturday on my Scrappin Saturday Series, so be sure to follow along with that. And I thank you for taking time out of your Saturday to join me and find a little time to do a little creating for yourself today. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.